these guys, Morales, Prates, Shavkat, they make me like training every day more hard. But because I see this is the real fighters who can give me good fights.
I'd rather see him fight Morales. I think Morales as a physical beast, green, but a physical beast, presents an interesting kind of challenge for Islam.
Ian Garry did not poke a hole in the boat of Islam's invincibility aura, but he showed that one might exist. And I do think that Morales versus Islam, for the first time ever, just became interesting.
Who does Islam fight next, Prates or Morales, and why? I would go with Michael Morales. My personal opinion is Michael Morales. The reason why I say Michael Morales is he's undefeated.
The question is, who's next? He says he wants to defend multiple more times, get to 20 fights in a row, winning streak. And that would mean fighting a Michael Morales. That would mean fighting potentially a Shavkat, potentially fighting a Carlos Prates, and maybe even rematching an old Ian Machado Garry.
Before Ramadan, okay, so you're shooting for January.
Of course, January, end of the year, I have to fight.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Tonight wasn't my night. I feel great. I did great. Islam was just better to me than me tonight, and that's okay. I want everybody who loves me and supports me and wants to see me do better. I want you to know that I'm going to be back. I'm not disheartened by this. I'm bulletproof in my mind. I'll be back. I'm 28 years of age. I just fought arguably the greatest fighter we've ever seen in this sport.
Makhachev says he'll fight anyone. His suggestion: let Prates and Morales fight each other first and settle who actually deserves the #1 contender spot.
Getting a title shot.
Of Carlos Prates and Michael Morales backstage arguing about who should get the title shot against you next, and they both want it. They both think they deserve it. How do you feel?
I don't know who I want to choose, no matter who is them. Maybe let them fight. Why they not fight in this card to see who is the #1 contender, But it's okay. I'm happy we have some real contenders in this division. And these guys, Morales, Prates, Shavkat, they make me like training every day more hard. But because I see this is the real fighters who can give me good fights.
Before looking ahead, Makhachev reflected on the Garry fight itself. He called Garry a frustrating opponent, one whose patient style made it hard to deliver the action fans wanted.
And I see his leg, try to take him down. He has like some good defense, but very hard to show good performance with someone like that.
Josh Thompson agrees, favoring Morales over Prates. He points to Morales' unbeaten record, arguing a win there would add real weight to Makhachev's case as the greatest of all time.
Who does Islam fight next, Prates or Morales, and why? I would go with Michael Morales. My personal opinion is Michael Morales. The reason why I say Michael Morales is he's undefeated. Carlos Prates is not undefeated. Right now, you need to understand that Ian Garry beat Carlos Prates. But it wasn't a great fight. And I like Carlos Prates. I think he's a more entertaining fight than Ian Garry. Ian Garry didn't care what the crowd thought. Ian Garry was going to do what he does. Carlos Prates will mix it up. Carlos Prates will do jumping flying knees. Carlos Prates will take chances. That's why Carlos Prates got 7 losses. But he's got 24 wins because he's fun to watch fight. He doesn't care. He's having fun fighting. But I think he fights Michael Morales. If I'm Islam, I want to fight the guy that has the O next to his name to better solidify my chance of being called the GOAT. That's why.
The panel thinks Makhachev's next title defenses could be his toughest yet, and they'll define his legacy.
No, can Islam beat this? There's going to be big doubts. A lot of the times when you're talking about John Jones, Anderson Silva, they were in JSP, they were so kind of above the playing field that almost every matchup you felt like would have to be an enormous upset to see them go down. You know what I mean? Maybe toward the end things started getting different, but dude, Makhachev, like right now, those fights look like huge impositions. You know what I mean? They just look like huge roadblocks in his way. So if he's able to kind of defend that belt a couple of more times, I mean, he'll make himself undeniably in that GOAT space, right?
Yes. Oh, 100%, especially against this Murderers Row coming up. I know they're not the most proven title contenders, but
Chael Sonnen calls Makhachev's win over Ian Garry a complete performance, but he sees Morales as the more intriguing next test, citing his power explosiveness, and takedown defense.
Watching Islam tonight, I cannot tell you what his weaknesses are. He really fought everywhere and he fought well. But my interest in seeing Michael Morales take on Islam did not exist until now. Just now is when I realized that Morales could do a better job defending takedowns than Ian, at least in theory. And that Morales can engage a little bit more explosively. I can't say Morales' combinations are better than Garry, but I think that his power is. And all of a sudden, Morales starts to look like a very interesting proposition.
Sonnen notes Makhachev has already proven himself in 2 weight classes. Still, Garry may have exposed a small crack in that unbeatable aura, and Sonnen thinks that's exactly why Morales makes sense next.
So we got a number of things out of tonight. But more than anything, we have a reason. We have a reason to be here. And has Islam proved that he's the best? Yeah, at 2 different weight classes. He sure has. And the 2 weight classes changes all the numbers of all the guys that he was trying to surpass tonight. Changes everything when you're doing it multiple weights. Are we certain nobody can beat him? Are we certain there's not a way for somebody to beat him? No. No, Ian Garry did not poke a hole in the boat of Islam's invincibility aura, but he showed that one might exist. And I do think that Morales versus Islam, for the first time ever, just became interesting.
Islam Makhachev isn't slowing down. Fresh off another win, the double champ is already calling out Carlos Prates. Prates, meanwhile, was seen going back and forth with Michael Morales' camp, making it clear he wants that welterweight title shot in December. Ariel Helwani thinks the next title defenses will reveal even more about Makhachev, especially now that Garry has shown a possible blueprint for beating him. The panel points to Morales and the rest of the contenders as the real test still ahead.
It's not going to be the easiest ride for him. Like, he's not, like, these next few title defenses are really going to tell us who Islam Makhachev is, in my opinion.
100%. And if you were to say what would be his hardest, like in this fight, like before this fight, he's fighting, he's going to defend, who's going to be the hardest? Probably you would have played, I don't know, would you have placed Ian Garry? I probably would have put Morales as harder in the sense of how big he was and all of the things you're talking about, but you probably wouldn't have had Ian Garry. But to see Ian Garry come out there and I guess put some tape out there on how to maybe like do some things, and now you're talking about these 2 monsters that are in attendance and they're waiting out there. When you were talking about like the whole Anderson Silva thing and his leg is like where he's at.
Makhachev admits the fight tested him, but he takes it as a positive. His mentality stays simple, fight from the opening second to the final bell.
Yeah, he gave me like too many scratches, you know. He gave me like very hard headbutt end of the 4th round when I make him slam. You can see he gave me like back headbutt, and I feel that moment I like in the fight I don't remember when my nose bleeding, you know, and right away the blood is coming out, and I thought maybe I broke the nose or something's happened, you know. He gave me like very hard headbutt, but it's okay. Hard fight, it's make you improve, and I feel improve, you know.
Luke Thomas sees it differently, calling the win a highly technical defensive battle. Not the most entertaining fight, he admits, but a tough, impressive one given how strong Garry's defense was.
And that he had to get up against a very skilled competitor, but because he couldn't, this is one of the worries that we had. Garry's defense is going to be so strong that Islam's going to be just ahead of him, but not really able to advance the attack all that much. And that's basically what you got, right? That's basically what you got. And so I think people might undersell the value of this win. This win to me was not aesthetically pleasing, and it was not necessarily the height of interesting in all the ways that maybe it could have been for people this skilled. But as a defensive battle, and the level of skill that Islam had to show against a guy like this up a weight class, very, very special.
The fight drew criticism of its own. Dana White questioned Gary's lack of aggression late on, especially when the Irishman hugged and shook hands with Makhachev in round 5 instead of pushing for a finish.
This is my honest opinion on it. I felt like tonight was set up for the upset. There's weight classes for a reason. Ian Garry is a big, rangy, strong guy who has great takedown defense. I mean, if you look at his takedown defense tonight against Islam, it was impressive. I felt like, I think that Ian is a talented guy. If he had even an ounce of killer instinct in that 5th round, you know, he had been beating him to the body. Islam's whole, I think, right side was beat up. His face was beat up. You don't come out and hug and shake hands in the fight. That shit drives me crazy when there's so much at stake. And there's also a lot of mental gamesmanship, whatever you want to call it in this game. You come out in that 5th round with a flying knee or something crazy and you try to finish the fight. This is one of those fights that Ian will go back and watch and say, wish I could do that over again. I don't know if he was in his head and Ian felt like he had to come out and shake hands in the 5th round or whatever, but, you know, Islam did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight.
Luke Thomas leans the same way, pointing to Morales' size, strength, and physicality as the kind of test that could genuinely challenge Makhachev.
Who do we think is next? Do we think Prates is next? Do we think Morales is next? I think, honestly, Morales might be next, but who knows if they give him Prates. Who would you rather see? Now, me personally, I'd take either. I'd rather see him fight Morales. I think Morales as a physical beast, green, but a physical beast, presents an interesting kind of challenge for Islam. How do you deal with a guy who might be defensively stout and just a tank at 170? And I think Prates is like deceptively strong, but the grappling differential, right? I mean, how many times did Ian get Prates down? Ian got Prates down 4 times. It's like, bro, if Ian can do that, I mean, you would imagine Islam.
MMA Guru pushed back on White's criticism, arguing Dagestani fighters get a pass for the same cage control that others get roasted for. Makhachev, he said, pinned Garry against the fence and did nothing for minutes across multiple rounds, avoiding real combat. Yet Dana never calls out a Dagestani fighter the way he calls out everyone else. No pressure to entertain, no criticism to match.
It's very impressive what he did. And again, you know, in my my thoughts on how Ian performed tonight, you know, so you can, like I said, you can flip that whole script and then drop it on Islam on how impressively he beat a big, strong, rangy guy who was doing damn good work. You know, Islam did everything he needed to do to beat this guy. And like I said, there's weight classes for a reason. And tonight's matchup was a perfect example of that.
Makhachev backs Dana White's red 2. He called it a war, not a courtesy fight, went in to break his opponent, hold nothing back.
Beginning of the 5th round, he high-fived you. Dana White said he hates that. He wished you guys would just...
Bro, honestly, I don't understand, man. This is the fight. This is not something we have to, like, hug each other every round, you know. We're going to war to broke the face, to broke the eye, you know. That's why I respect all my opponents. But Ian, I don't know, he respect too much.
What did he say to you after the fight? Because it looked like he came and
He just said, I fight today with the greatest fighter. Yeah, I respect him, you know. He's a good guy, very kind, you know. But this is the war, you know. Look my face. I just come to beat everybody. It's not some things you have to play. This is fight. This is not game.
One thing is clear. Makhachev isn't going back to lightweight. He's staying at welterweight, where he's enjoyed training and skipped the brutal weight cut.
Well,
Makhachev wants to be back before Ramadan, eyeing a January return, and he's open to fighting as early as the end of this year to stay active while he's healthy.
Are you looking to be able to fight 2 times next year after Ramadan?
bro, we have to fight before Ramadan, 100%.
Before Ramadan, okay. So you're shooting for January.
Of course. January, end of the year, we have to fight.
Maybe even the end of this year?
Yeah, because I'm not like 20-somethings. I'm 34 years old, and I have to fight soon as possible because I'm not cut much weight. I don't have like any big injuries, just have to maybe double check my nose. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And before this fight also, I give my approval to fight in White House. It's long story why I'm not there, but I told beginning of the summer I want to fight. I call Ali, I call everybody, I want to fight. But it's not something I chose and I make, you know.
MMA Guru kept up the attack, calling the performance boring and knocking Makhachev for a lack of offense against Garry.
4-1 is crazy. They literally gave him round 4 despite him landing no effective damage. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But there you go. Generational Dagestani slander coming is fine. Just boring fuck, dude. He landed a head kick in round 2. And other than that, he did nothing! For 20 minutes! He did f***ing nothing! That's the truth! 0! He caught him with a head kick in round 2. And other than that, he did f***ing nothing! The whole fight! One head kick in round 2. Look at his face. He did nothing. Boring cunt. 2 in a row. Nothing to JDM and nothing to Ian Garry. But this time it's worse.
He thinks Makhachev leaned on cage control too much, and Garry takes the rematch.
Look at his face. Worse than a women's main event. Boring Ian wins a rematch. Other than this head kick that he landed with the toes. Alhamdulillah. He praised Makhachev tonight to land with the toes of a head kick. He did nothing for 24 minutes. But hold Ian against the cage. If he didn't get a back take, which he did nothing with in round 5, he would have lost the fight. Oh wait, they gave him round 4, where he did nothing. Call me toxic all you want, it's the truth. He did nothing.
UFC 330 is in the books, and now it's about what comes next for Makhachev. Prates, Morales, or someone else entirely. Drop your prediction in the comments and subscribe for more. Makhachev's plan for next camp. More size, more power, same relentless aggression.
I still have to gain some weight, try to be more big, more power, you know, and I have time, you know. And what this fight show me and show everybody, it's not like my hardest fight, you know. Doesn't matter how its fight is gonna go, easy or hard. From the first minute to last second, I'm going to war. I'm gonna fight every second.